Hey there everyone, for those who know me, you'll know that I'm currently travelling around Asia and parts of Australia and New Zealand. For those who don't know me, my name is Joe Allen and I'm a photographer, and today I'm going to run you through a quick rundown of what's in my travel camera bag. Currently I'm in Thailand and this is the island of Koh Kut, so rather than taking a huge amount of equipment, this is a lighter one. I say it's lighter because it's still pretty heavy, and let's just run straight through it. So first of all, the bag itself. This is the Manfrotto 3-in-1 Pro Light, and as far as camera bags go, it's pretty hard to find the perfect camera bag, and unfortunately this one still isn't perfect, but it's pretty damn close. It's a huge bag, can carry a lot of stuff and a large amount of weight. As you can see here, it's got a little tripod attachment on the back. I've pretty much always got the GorillaPod Pro version on here, but it can hold up to a larger tripod as well. So when I'm traveling, I generally like to have a bag that's got two halves to it. A top half where you can put all your sort of day gear, so things like just a sweater and any sort of food, drinks and stuff like that. And then a lower compartment where you've got all your camera gear. I also prefer to have a backpack, so you've got straps on both sides for double support rather than a one-sided sling bag. However, I also like it if you can spin the bag around and get access on the side. So, first of all, let's run you through this. So if we open up into the top, you'll see that I've actually got a film camera in here. So this is the Fuji Instax wide 210, and this just takes instant photos, and it's great for just travel and a bit of fun really. But it's nice to just have those sort of instant memories in an old analog format. I don't always carry this with me, but I just happen to have it here because, I mean, look at it, this place is stunning. Of course you've got to take photos like this. As for the top, you can see there's a huge amount of area in here for other stuff, so quite often I will use my Sony A7R II, which is actually what's being filmed on here, and that will just sit in the top, so I've got quick access. Also in here I've got little LED MagLite. This is perfect for places where you don't really have any street lighting and you're out doing late night photos. I was using this last night on the beach because I couldn't find my lens cap. Very handy. I'll also carry a permanent pen. This is just a Sharpie, and you'll notice that I got a bit of gaffer tape just wrapped around it for quick access when you're on the go. This is my trigger trap for doing long exposures and time lapses. This is the Sony mount. I've also got a Canon mount, and you can check out some of my other videos where I actually use the trigger trap if you're new to what this device is. It's really clever. It's a way of connecting your smartphone to your camera to do timed releases. This is just a little Manfrotto connection for the bottom of a compact camera, so you've got a mini tripod that just sits like that. I also use this little zipped section here to carry loads of batteries. You may have seen me tweeting about the A7R battery before. It's shockingly poor, so I actually have 7 of these batteries. These tiny little things don't take long to charge up, but I have to carry a lot of them. Now, one thing that's quite annoying with these batteries is they don't come with a battery cover. So you'll see I actually use just this white little loom band. So when the battery's charged, I'll put a loom band around it so I can see that it's clearly charged. When it's fully spent, I won't put a band around it, and then it's easy to know that that one needs charging. As for my Canon batteries, you'll see that I've got a little battery cover, and quite handily there's a little icon in there. Whichever way around you put the cover, you'll know if the icon is glowing blue, or if it's not coloured at all, then you know which one's charged and which ones aren't. Plus the battery cover actually keeps the battery safe. I've also got some white cards and grey cards in here just for quick white balance. These aren't 100% accurate, but they're pretty small and perfect for travelling with. I'll also carry a few sets of AA batteries, so these will go into a flash unit or something else that I may need that need batteries. And again, I'll tape these up with gaffer tape so I know which ones are charged, and obviously if they're uncharged I can then go and recharge them. Some other batteries in here, these are for the GoPro Hero 4. So obviously going through the batteries is kind of giving away what cameras I'm using. So another nice thing about these bags is they've got these side pouches as well. So in the top, I've just got quick access to a GoPro window mount, and you'll see in some of my featured videos on Hong Kong, and I'm guessing I'm going to be using this in other videos coming up as well. I quite often stick this on train windows. So when we're going onto the subway system, I'll stick this on, we get a nice time lapse throughout the city. It's pretty cool. And then there's just some various GoPro mounts and other things in there. On the other side, got a pack of memory cards. I generally keep these in their little cases as well. So we've got some micro SD adapters, 32GB card, 128GB card, and then another GoPro adapter. Sometimes I quite like to keep memory cards in separate bags just in case anything ever happens and you happen to lose a bag, or one of them gets stolen, or even your camera gets stolen. Any footage that you haven't imported yet, maybe on another memory card in another bag, so you can be safe that it's in 2 locations. Of course it's not ideal, but you know. Speaking of security, I also have a little lock cable here, so you can just hold that down, pull out the cord, and quite often what I'll do is I'll lock my bags together. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily secure with their zips or anything, but it just means that someone can't grab that bag with everything attached to it. I could also lock this bag to something itself, and of course, quite often with a lot of my gear, it's got my name quite clearly on it. This is just a 4-digit one, so I just put my code in and then you unlock it. I've also got a few of these. These are just little zip locks, so you can put those through the zips and that will just kind of lock your zips together. The reason these are flexi is because it's actually a lot harder for something to cut through or for you to even force it off. Because it's flexi, all it's going to do is just going to twist. It's never going to come out of there. Again, these aren't perfect because you could just get a big set of wire cutters and cut that off, but could you imagine someone trying to do that discreetly? So in the back section of the bag, again, another requirement for my backpacks is that they have to have a space for a laptop. So in here, I've just got my MacBook Pro, and before you ask, the reason it's got a black top is because I've got a dbrand sticker on there. There'll be a link to that in the description, and you can go and customize your Mac with various colors, patterns, textures, and anything. I just like the black because it's, I think, pretty classy looking, and it reminds me of the days of the Black Book. They were cool. And again, before anyone asks, that is a i7 quad-core MacBook Pro. All the specs and everything will be in the description and on the accompanying blog post. On the strap, I've got a Peak Design Capture Pro. Now, this is a handy little attachment that allows me to just slot my camera in whilst I'm wearing it. I quite often like to shoot without a strap, so by having this on my shoulder strap, I can just take the camera out, pop it back in when I'm not using it, and it's just super secure there. I could probably go running and it won't fall off. It's amazing. And this just screws in at the sides. You could actually take it off and put it on a belt as well if you wanted to. For those who've maybe seen my previous camera bag video, this is actually a new accessory that I bought just before traveling, and I have to say, it's probably one of the best things I've ever bought in such a hurry. It was amazing. Highly recommend this. Spin the bag around again. So, as I mentioned before, this is the Joby GorillaPod. This is the Pro version. Forget what it's actually called. And I'll quite often just use this as a standalone tripod because it's pretty lightweight and you can barely feel it on your bag. Or if I need to, I'll wrap it around something and then you can get a secure shot pretty much on any sort of surface. And with it having a ball head on top, that makes it very versatile, so no matter what you wrap it around, you can get your shot level. These front 2 pouches here are very useful for smaller accessories. I like to carry some filters in there. So I've got a few filters in here. This is a Tiffen variable neutral density filter. So that allows me to just control the light that comes into the sensor so that I can do long exposures during the day. Or if I'm filming in bright sunlight, I can change the light down without adjusting my aperture. This is a Hoya circular polarizer. Now these are used when you've got reflecting sunlight or water and blue skies. You want to maybe make the skies a little bit more vibrant, or you want to reduce the reflections in water so you get nice, clear, crisp shots. You need a polarizer. Now filters aren't cheap. You need to spend quite a lot to make sure you get a decent one. I'd recommend maybe borrowing someone who's maybe got one. I wouldn't go and buy a cheap one because you'll probably think that it's rubbish and not buy an expensive one, and then you'll miss out on the world of filters. For my filters, I just carry them in these little pouches. This is one from Muji, and this is the pouch that actually comes with the filter. In this other pouch, I have a series of postcards which I use like business cards. So I actually carry quite a stack of these, and I'll give these out at particular events, or in a scenario like this where people look at me and they're like, "What are you filming?" I'll go and hand out one of these postcards, and it's just got on there photo from Tokyo, my artwork, and then just a nice little bit that says nice to meet you, and then a link to my work. Okay, so let's have a look in the main compartment of the bag where all my camera gear is. So this bag's got a few different zip options to get into it. You've either got the top option, which zips like that, or you have this side compartment. If we undo this buckle, and you can unzip just like that. So this is handy when it's kind of around your shoulder and everything. So if we unzip the top, and then we can have a look in that way. Now, as I said, not every camera bag's perfect, and the one thing that really bothers me about this bag is the Velcro is just not that strong. So sometimes when you do have heavy stuff in here, the Velcro dividers do fall apart. Obviously, if it's full of equipment, it's going to hold itself together. Still looking for that perfect bag, by the way. So first thing on top, I have the BlackRapid Yeti strap. Now, I quite often use this in the single formation, which is the equivalent of the BlackRapid Sport. What makes it the Yeti is this extra attachment here, where you could put a second strap and you can have two cameras on either side of your body. Now, my main photo camera is the Canon EOS 7D Mark II. If you've watched my previous camera bag video, you'll know that I've since upgraded to the 7D. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that my 70D destroyed itself and just kind of stopped. It was very upsetting, but you know, it's a tool, what do you do? So I've got the 7D Mark II, and what I love about this is the rapid, fast 10 frames a second burst rate. That's perfect for sports and fast moving events. Which I occasionally do, but I just love it as a camera body, and you know, it's a great size for traveling with. Quite often I will use the battery grip, though because I'm traveling, I've taken the battery grip off just to make it that little bit lighter. You can still carry the batteries with you, but you miss out on the portrait grip. So the lens I've got on here at the moment, this is the 24-70 f2.8L, and this is the Mark I. I'd love to have the Mark II version, but for the moment I don't need to upgrade that. And this is what that 10 frames a second burst rate sounds like. Pretty nice, huh? So what I love about this camera is it's got a dual memory card slot. So I have an SD card and a compact flash card. Now on the SD, I'll use a 128GB card, and I'll shoot only RAWs on that card. The compact flash will be taking backups of all of those photos that are taken, but in JPEG format. Now, I've never actually had a memory card fail on me, but if ever I do, at least I've got those JPEGs somewhere, you know, that I could go and import. It also means that I can keep that compact flash in and just keep on backing up photos throughout the whole trip pretty much. So if, you know, God forbid everything gets stolen except for the camera that I'm holding, then at least I've got those JPEGs of my whole trip so far. So this is my main photo camera, and as for my video, what I'll use is my Sony A7R II. Now, I've had this camera for coming up maybe 6-7 months now, I forget how long I've had it. Now I use this for video because the picture it produces is incredible. Such amazing colours and just so much control with it. You can set it to S-Log2 to get complete dynamic range control and everything. It's just, it's such a great camera for video. It also shoots in 4K, so if I wanted to do that, I can do it in 4K. This is actually being filmed currently in 4K. Now, it's also amazing for photos. It's got a 42 megapixel sensor, so it can produce incredible images for photos. However, switching between photo and video on the camera is actually quite troublesome because you have to change your picture profile as well. So you can set up custom modes and you can go like a photo one and a video one, but to be honest, it's just so much easier to have a different camera for photo, which is why I use my 7D for photo, my A7R II for video. If there are days where I need to be extremely light, I will take just the Sony, and that will do me fine. I just have to change the settings and keep an eye on what I'm doing. So let's have a look in the rest of the bag to see what lenses I've got. Now, a lens that I will swear by is such an incredible lens is the 40mm f2.8 pancake lens. Now, I quite often have this on the Sony. This is my go-to as a quick sort of video lens. And because I'll keep the Sony on my Capture Pro, it's not really adding any weight, and it's such a sharp lens. Honestly, I can't rate this lens enough. And the best thing about it is it's like 100 quid. It's incredible. But the lens I'm currently using to film is the Canon 16-35 f4. Now, it's also got an image stabilizer, so that's perfect for video stuff. So my telephoto lens that I'll use is the Canon 70-200 f2.8. I absolutely love this lens. It is so good. The autofocus on it is incredibly fast. The bokeh is amazing. it's just so great. The only problem with it is that it just weighs a lot, so traveling with it is, you know, it's quite a heft on your back, but because I love this lens so much, I've got to have it in my bag. It's incredible. So another camera that I'll take with me when I'm traveling is the GoPro Hero 4. Now I've got the silver version because it's got the nice touchscreen viewfinder on the back. Not all of the GoPros have screens on the back, so you can't actually see what you're shooting. And on here, I've just got the floaty handle so I can use this. I was using this out in the sea earlier and it just bobs up and down. So if ever you drop your camera, it's not gonna sink to the bottom of the ocean. It's just gonna float up and you can pick it up again. Also adds that extra little bit of stability because you've got that firm handle in place. And final few items in here. So this is the Techlink recharge. This is my portable battery for my phone. When you're out traveling, sometimes you don't know how long it's going to be until you get to a power socket, or even if you've got an adapter to use that power socket if you're in a completely different country. I think this is a 1200 milliampere capacity, so you can get quite a few full recharges of an iPhone 6. And what I discovered the other day is you can use the recharge cable to actually charge the Sony. So if, God forbid, I go through all of my 7 batteries that I've got for that, I can still charge it with this and keep it running and even power it whilst it's charging. So, whew, that was a good discovery the other day. I've also got a couple of little pouches like these, and in here I've just got a few GoPro accessories, remote, and other adapters and links and things like that. The Manfrotto PIXI, this is a miniaturized tripod that also doubles as a handle. Occasionally I'll use this for vlogging, and what I'll do is I'll just put my camera on there, and there's a little ball head, and there it is. So the final item that I want to show you, and if I want to travel incredibly light, I will take just this one camera. It sits on my hip, and that is the G7X. So this is the Canon G7X, and I'll use this for all of my vlogging shots. For my narrative sections, I'll use the Sony for the high quality. Got a flip up screen. This little guy here is a micro muff, and that actually stops the wind from ruining your audio, so it keeps it nice and muffled. It's on a bit of Velcro so you can remove it. It does get in the way of the little selfie screen, but you know, you can see the outline of your head, you know where you are. So yeah, this is what I use for my vlogging, and you can go and check out my channel with loads of other vlogs and videos where I'm out shooting with this, and I'll take you to the events that I'm going to. So the equipment that's currently being used to film this video, I've already mentioned the Sony A7R II. The microphone I'm using is the Røde VideoMic Pro, and I've just got the wind dead cat muffler on there, so that's hopefully getting rid of a lot of the wind audio that's kind of blowing through this area. And the tripod that I'm using is the Manfrotto BeFree carbon fiber. Now this is a super lightweight tripod. You can barely feel it in your suitcase. And this is great for just setting up if you want to take some photos, say, in a pretty calm environment, you know, long exposures on the beach. It's not going to be very good if you're up a mountain doing windy photography. I can guarantee that it's probably going to fall over. But when you need it, it's great to have. Now, as with most travel photographers, you probably do end up traveling with most of your camera gear in your carry-on luggage, and your suitcase with all your clothes weighs probably nothing. That's definitely the case for me, and I will use a rolling camera case. That's the Manfrotto Pro Roller 50. You may have seen that in some of my other videos. And my suitcase, which will be way below the restrictions on the weights for the airlines, will just carry literally just a few clothes and a tripod. I generally don't ever want to put any of my equipment into the hold of the airplane, just in case that luggage gets damaged, stolen, lost, or you know, anything can happen, and you do read about it quite a lot. So yeah, I'll only ever carry my camera equipment with me on the aeroplane. Now that does mean that it's, you know, a heavy amount, and hopefully they never weigh it, so sometimes I'll put a heavy lens in my pocket just so that they don't weigh my bag. Okay, so that wraps up my whole travel camera bag video, and I hope you really enjoyed this video. You should go and check out some of my other ones, maybe even my full camera bag video, or some of my travel videos. There's going to be a few coming up very soon. As I said, I'm traveling for the next 4 or 5 months, and then I'm going to be spending a year in Australia, so there's going to be a huge amount of amazing content on the way. If you've got any tips on travel equipment or things that you like to use, then leave a comment below. I'd love to read what you're using, and it's great to just share knowledge and just kind of open a community about this. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. It's going to be an exciting year, and I hope to see you soon. I've got to dash off because I've actually got a massage. Traveling's amazing. Anyway, see you later guys. Thanks.